Hi, I'm just me.
Hi, and I'm Ralgash.
And if you're learning this from us, I blame your parents.
Dun 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 dun.
I want to tell my horror story.
Well, let me explain what exactly has triggered this in the first part. So, my Adam has a coworker who clearly was never taught how to eat. I understand there are some people who truly enjoy that mouth sound, eating noises, ASMR, and if you're one of those people, that's cool. You do you. I am part of the population that hates it. It makes me cringe. It makes me not want to eat. It makes me want to punch you in the face.
Like, for example, I like the sound of kittens eating, right? That when they're suckling off their mom or whatever. I think that's kind of soothing in a weird, strange way, right? But that sound...
I don't like it. I can eat too loudly for myself. Okay? Putting that out there. So, yes, some people really like it, and other people really, really don't. I guess the point is, when you are in a public place, or with people that you don't necessarily know very well, I feel that it is the most polite to just assume that they are of the shut effin' mouth persuasion, and not the let's watch ASMR together. I mean, you could discuss it with them and see which one they prefer, but don't just assume that people want to hear your smacking nasty noises, okay? 'Cause we don't. It's what the internet is for, okay? That is what the internet is for. Go give a paycheck to an ASMR channel. Don't bring that sound to my house.
Okay. So, there's been maybe a couple of instances where the way people eat has bothered me. Which very rarely happens, because I can usually look past people's bad habits pretty easily.
You used to do it too.
But the thing is, there was this lady in a restaurant. Her and her husband owned the restaurant. Very, very nice lady she was. I liked her, right? And she liked us too. And the problem is she would sit us down to eat, and then she would bring her food over to the table beside us and yammer away while eating her food, and the food is just falling out of her mouth and onto her lap and then back into her bowl, and just it would and you can see it rolling around in her mouth, and as she's chewing and talking, and it's just horrible. Right? It was just awful. And she's facing us, and we're eating our food, and we're like, oh, yeah, okay, lady. Like, yeah, you know. Yeah, we never went back. That was about 4 years ago. Yeah. It's got a very good reputation for having excellent food, but the problem is...
You can't eat it because you're so grossed out.
Yeah, you will not enjoy your food unless you do the takeout. So that was my horrible experience with people eating.
You used to eat with your mouth open too.
Not that badly.
I don't even know what else to say. It's not that hard to close your mouth. It's rude to assume that other people aren't going to be bothered. And when someone calls you out for it and asks you nicely to please close your mouth and not go like, what the, how do you even? If someone calls you out for it, please just close your mouth. Just
Or at least don't have your food falling out of your mouth while you're talking to the person across from you.
Did you know that chewing with your mouth open is actually bad for you, like health-wise? So when you're chewing with your mouth open, it's easier for you to ingest air with your food. When you ingest air, it causes gas, because air is a gas, and you get it in here and it causes gas. It causes bloating, causes cramping. All this can be prevented by... See, it's not that hard. Like, your jaw moves with your mouth closed. Secondarily, since I'm complaining about this anyway, there's also a thing that people do when they're like, I don't chew with my mouth open, but they take massive first bites. So that the first 2 bites are like, hum, hum. And then they proceed to chew with their mouth closed. It's like, that doesn't count. Take a smaller bite. It's not that hard. Apparently this bothers me more than I thought. This is just gonna be me ranting for however long.
Oh, I'm amused.
Sometimes you just gotta rant though. Is this not what the YouTubes are for?
Yeah.
And yes, I know it's YouTube, but not the YouTubes. Are you chewing with your mouth open today?
No, I was drinking root beer. It was totally a root beer burp. It was
Lovely.
interesting. It tasted kind of like, yeah. A bit of pizza on the side.
Stuff like that. Not dinner conversation. Okay.
Oh, we're not eating.
True. But just since we're educating people on the topic of foods,
oh, gee.
that would not be appropriate conversation.
There was a friend I had, and you'd be in the middle of eating a delicious steak dinner or whatever, and she would compare it to the latest episode of, what was it running called? It was Quincy or whatever. And, yeah, forensic stories and things like that. Do not talk about surgeries or anything like that over the dinner table. Unless you're all doctors, and that's cool with you guys.
Close your mouth. Take real bites. Chew. A lot of people don't focus on that, but chew your food. I don't chew. I am a not chewer. It makes my tummy hurt sometimes. My brother used to swallow French fries whole. I have jaw problems, so sometimes chewing is not my friend.
I like to chew.
If I could, I would. So also, snaking down your food like a bird. Not necessarily appropriate. Not necessarily appropriate dinner activities.
You know my personal favorite I like to do sometimes, just because I know it might annoy a certain person at the table or whatever, is if the dish has a bit of gravy on it or a sauce or something and you've cleared everything else off the plate, you pick the plate up.
Again, inappropriate. Especially if it's like your first time dining with someone, don't ever do that. Oh, some of these grown-ass men that I have seen that don't know how to close their mouth. I don't understand. How do you get to be an adult with no one ever telling you how to properly eat? How?
This woman that I was talking about was older than me.
Mm-hmm. I mean, clearly there's a problem here. There's some epidemic of people. It's just rude. It's just rude. As someone who grew up in literally the most multicultural point in the entire world, I understand that different cultures consider different things rude or not. You can slurp your ramen, that's okay. Unless you're eating soup, because that's not ramen, and then you don't slurp it. Time and place, people. Time and place.
What about picking up the bowl and just drinking it?
time and place. Maybe not at a fancy dinner, but I mean, that's what I do when I eat soup. When you eat ramen, it's acceptable to drink it, because, I mean, you know... Fun fact.
Is it the one about the queen?
Wait, what about the queen?
Okay. She had a guest, and the guest wasn't familiar with certain customs, right? And set out was a bowl, and the person assumed it was a soup, picked up the bowl.
It's the finger bowl, right?
The finger bowl.
Yeah.
Drank it. So the queen did the same thing. So it's not to embarrass her guest.
So for those of you who don't know, if you're ever at a fancy dinner and someone brings out a little bowl with a piece of lemon in it,
that would be the bowl.
That's for dipping your fingers. And you dip them and you know, and then you like pat them dry and
yeah,
you move on to the next course. It's not for drinking. If you ever wonder what you're supposed to be doing at a fancy dinner party, look at the people beside you.
Yeah. Watch what they do.
Someone's going to be doing the right thing.
Be like a monkey and ape them.
Exactly.
Monkey see, monkey do.
It's not that hard. But yeah, just don't... Oh.
That is a funny story, though, where the queen decided to make her guests comfortable.
I've heard that story before, but it was different royalty. I don't know if it was like the current...
I heard it was Queen Elizabeth. Let's find out.
Could be. I think it's one of those urban legend things, because it's been done a million times, like in movies and stuff. So, I think it's just an urban legend. Not to say that it didn't happen at some point somewhere, but I think the details have been muddied. The who's and the where's.
Over the course of the meal, finger bowls were brought out and placed at each attendee's setting. The dignitary, assuming standards of his own culture, respectfully picked up the bowl in both hands and drank the warm water. Those of Queen Victoria's court anxiously looked to the Queen for her next action. So it was Queen Victoria.
Victoria.
Yeah.
Different queen.
Yeah.
Because yes, I understand that different cultures have different manners, different etiquette. But I'm pretty sure in every culture, all around the world, you close your mouth when you eat. Because I'm trying to think here. I remember distinctly having dinner at my Indian friend's house and her closing her mouth. Yeah, that's a thing. And I watch all of these like Japanese food videos, and when they eat, once they've slurped it in, they close their mouth. What am I doing here? I don't know what this is. Ugh. Anyway, so my whole point is that manners are important, etiquette is important, there's a time and place for everything, and the first or second time you have a meal with someone is not the appropriate time to open your mouth and let your food fall out and get all sloppy with it, go and oh my god, don't be like this is so delicious. No, I swear to god, dude, he was like eating and talking and smacking and I don't even know. I don't even know how his mouth made those sounds.
Oh my, oh, it was one of those. Was this somebody you recently ate with?
Yeah, he's been hanging out for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, every time we offer
well, at least
him
you know
something
he
to
was
eat,
really enjoying it.
I had to leave the room. I have to leave the room when he comes over.
This is an actual condition if you Google it, where the person is so horribly annoyed by sounds that it can cause them to go into a panic attack or anxiety or...
Oh god, that high-pitched squeal that you get with like electronics.
Yeah.
Nothing makes me more anxious.
Yeah. Google it.
We probably should. I should know the name of this disorder that I clearly have. I've always had a problem with sounds. Like, just in general. I can be in like a different room in my house, like the opposite side of my house, and hear the TV on the other side. Yep.
Okay. New research suggests that misophonia is the real deal People may be hypersensitive to these sounds because of changes in brain structure. Misophonia, dubbed as a selective sound sensitivity syndrome, comes with a handful of trigger sounds. The noises could come from eating, breathing loudly, or whistling.
I hate all of those.
Yeah?
There's a name for what I've got.
Yeah, misophonia.
One more time.
Is it misophonia.
Misophonia.
Misophonia, right there.
Misophonia.
Yeah.
Neat.
Do the sounds of crunching, chewing, and heavy breathing drive you nuts?
Okay, so this one time, I was staying with my aunt, and I was in the bedroom just off the kitchen, and I have a weird schedule. I've never slept the same hours as other people, so I didn't get woken up. I put in earplugs. I couldn't sleep. The sound of my own breath and my heartbeat. I had to take them out and listen to like the ambient nothingness of like a fan or something. I can handle white noise, but like, I don't know, it's weird. It's kind of fucked up that my own heartbeat would drive me crazy. Comment below if you have any of this kind of stuff, like if you have trouble with sounds, or comment below if you really truly enjoy these god-awful sounds. And understand that I'm not insulting you as a person, just...
Huh. Interesting.
What? Is it telling you I'm autistic?
No? Turns out, when study participants with misophonia heard the trigger sounds, brain activity went up in the frontal lobe area and the anterior insular cortex. The AIC is in the gray matter part of the brain and is tied to processing emotions. Okay, so there's like some kind of miswiring between your frontal lobe and your emotional cortex area.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So you've got too many bits of information going through your brain is the problem. Misophonia. M-I-S-O-P-H-O-N-I-A.
And now you know that. Now I know that. Just, you make sounds and then food falls out. No one wants to see it rolling around in your mouth. Seafood is just, it's not cool, man. It's not cool. And then these people wonder why they're single. Like, oh.
She was married. This one lady, her husband ate the same way though. I guess they just sit across from each other watching each other's food fall out while they're talking. Like, chewing, talking, spitting. I don't see.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I was traumatized. Sorry, I couldn't go back.
So, I guess like this if you like this.
Comment, perhaps?
Subscribe for new videos twice a week.
Tune in next time when we're doing something silly or eating something or reviewing something. You never know what we could be doing when we're bored.
Do you have cookie cutters?
I have a whole collection of them. What kind of cookie cutters are you looking for?
I don't know, I haven't figured that part out yet.
Okay.
I was gonna say, follow us on Twitter.
Oh yes.
So that you never miss an upload and you never miss a live stream. And if we can get to, let's say, 15 followers on Twitter, we'll eat spicy kimchi.
Spicy kimchi? Mm-hmm. What is that?
It's like cabbage salad, the Korean coleslaw.
Okay.
How would you describe it? Comment below. I've heard it described as Korean coleslaw, but Korean like spicy.
When it's spicy. Okay.
So, follow us on Twitter so that we'll do that. Okay. Bye! That's not an excuse not to try, though. And you do try. And I appreciate it. I really do.